Hello everyone. So we're here as part of National Volunteering Week having a chat with our directors, our volunteer directors. So I'm delighted to be joined here by our chairman, John Devaney, who most of you I think will know at this stage, and John is very synonymous with Roscommon Credit Union in his second term as chairman of Roscommon Credit Union. So John, thank you for coming in to us to have the little chat as part of National Volunteering Week.
No bother. Yeah.
Can I ask you, what does volunteering mean to you?
Well, volunteering obviously is you give up a bit of time, but there's always an element of enjoyment to get over it. I've been volunteering, you could say, all my life with sport, from the GA and from local associations or whatever. And while there is a good bit of time involved, if you're thinking about time, you won't volunteer. But you always get into the group. Once you get into a group, you get a certain amount of satisfaction in doing it. And that's why I always find that the plus outweigh the negatives in anything I've been in over the years.
Very good. And John, can I ask you, what would have attracted you to the credit union? Like what made you volunteer as a director of the credit union?
Well, if I'm honest, there was a time when they were looking for a credit union, and the credit union hadn't crossed my mind before, but the chairman and secretary at the time came and talked to me and asked me would I volunteer, and I said yes. And once I got into it, then I found it fascinating first, I suppose, and that I had, if you like, some kind of a say in the running of such a big business, financial, that I knew nothing about. But you learn as you go along, and you get more involved as you go along. And as I say, I always try to mix business with pleasure. And once you get to know the other group and maybe socialise, so I always kind of socialise with my volunteering group, if I like. So it's part of the whole thing,
Okay. Yeah. And I suppose, John, you have, as I said earlier there, you're in your second term as chairman, so you would be devoting a good bit of time to the credit union, and I suppose we are very grateful for that. But as part of that, can I ask you, what has been some of the most rewarding moments for you as a director, a volunteer director with Roscommon Credit Union?
So, if I can answer it in a long way around, I often, find myself going at the deep end. And first, when I became chair, I was very, if you like, maybe a bit naive at the amount of work that would be involved in it. But as I say, you learn as you go along. And I suppose the second time round, I attacked it with much more, and I was retired at that stage, and I attacked it with much more vigour, and I knew an awful lot more about it. It's maybe easier. But I suppose when you're in, the challenge was there. To answer the challenge, I hadn't really much time to think about it at the time. But you just jump in, I suppose, to feet first. That's the way it's always been with me. But I found that, as I say, I grew into the job, if you like.
Absolutely,
I thought,
absolutely. Yeah. And I suppose I'll bring you back to, has there been some rewarding moments during your time? Oh,
absolutely. As I say, I always liked the social side of it, and indeed, when you're always at a gathering, a national gathering of the National Association, there's a social side to it which I always enjoyed, and I always consider that the little bonus for being for your work,
I know.
Yeah.
Do you feel Roscommon Credit Union and indeed your role as a director of Roscommon Credit Union, do you think we impact the community around us, or the community in the branch areas that we operate in?
Oh, absolutely. I would, yeah, and that's part of the feel-good factor for me when somebody says to me, like in about any chance of getting a loan off you in there, and I'd say, "Oh, come in." I say, "What do you want? Is it a new Merc, or maybe do you want a villa in the south of France? We'll sort out. Come on in." You always kind of answer light-hearted back. But it was only yesterday I got that kind of a challenge, and that's what I said. Whatever you want, we'll sort out. That's what we're there for. I always kind of, you don't go kind of in too deep with people when you meet them on the street, but it always makes me feel good when I do. So somebody associates me with what you're trying to do.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know, and it's probably not coming to mind, but I know you, for one, was definitely one of the directors that would have helped me along a good bit along the way in getting our ATMs out into our 4 areas, and that was a proud day for you as well.
Well, it was, because of what I've just said there about the feedback from it was brilliant, and that makes you feel it's all worthwhile. Yeah.
John, what advice would you give to somebody out there that might be thinking about volunteering or giving up time? It doesn't have to be credit union related, but just in a volunteer capacity.
Yeah, well, the thing is, have a go at it, is what I would say. And if you think, you might think this doesn't suit me, I know nothing about finance, or I know nothing, investments or anything like that. You'll learn as you go along. It's very much a learning process. I came in very raw, but willing to give my 3 halfpence worth, as they say, and it's worked out very well for me. So I enjoyed watching, if you like, the business grow, which it has. It was the same credit union, but a very different framework, if you know what I mean, when we had just a single office. That's probably only about a quarter of the size it is now. So there's always a bit of an element of satisfaction in seeing something thrive while you're part of directing it,
And John, finally I'd ask you, is there anything that you wish that our followers and members knew more about in terms of the role of a director and the important role that they play?
I suppose I would say, we have 15,000 members, and I would say the vast majority of them wouldn't even give it 2 minutes thought. But I would ask or advise people that if they did, that it's a worthwhile experience. If you're interested in becoming a director or a volunteer, it is a worthwhile experience. But as I would say, the vast majority of members don't give it any thought. Yeah.
John, thanks for coming in for the chat. Thanks for the time that you give to the credit union, because you do give a lot of time and you do a lot of work in the background that a lot of people don't realise. And we're very lucky to have you on board.
Well, thanks very much.
And I think it's nice on National Volunteers Week to be able to show appreciation to our volunteers that give up that time and effort, and you have to leave your home, or some people have to leave work, or you're involved in other organisations, and give it to the credit union. And we are very grateful, and it's great that we have such a great vibe around our board table at meetings of the board of directors and the board oversight. So it's great to have a week to celebrate you. Thanks very much,
great.
John.
Yeah, it's a wonderful experience for me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.